This is a vertical split from a masthead. There might be another name for this move. I don't know it. If you know it, please let me know because there's a lot of names and I have a hard time keeping track of all of them. So, no inverting required for this move. It's going to go from a masthead. You can take it from a climb or two up. You can take it from the ground. This move works on spin. This move works on static. Either way. Okay, so you want to be comfortable in your masthead first. So for this one, flexibility wise, it's needed. It's much more hamstring heavy, this muscle, than it is hip flexor heavy. Okay, and there are variations with this. Do you need to have a completely flat split to get into this move? Not necessarily. It really comes down to like what line do you want. If hamstrings are more your struggle, you can do this with a bent leg, but how easy it is to hold it with a bent leg is going to kind of vary depending on your body proportions. For some people, depending on length of their arms, their torsos, their legs, it actually makes it just hard to get into a secure position. But like I said, don't let that stop you from trying it. So for this one, we're going to go from a masthead. Like I said, you can go from the ground, you can go from a climb. Just going from the ground, you can literally just hook your knee and pull up into it. Okay, so from here, it's going to be the inside leg that is coming up. So if you have to plan accordingly, I know quite often pullers are like, wait, is that my good split, my bad split? Okay, the inside leg is going to be the one that's coming up. Your outside leg is going to be your anchor. In the early stages of learning this move, I'm keeping my toe pointed throughout the transition on this, but when teaching it, I encourage students initially flex that bottom foot and it'll give you a more secure anchor. Also on that, when you're first kind of feeling this move out, you can bend that bottom leg, okay? And that will make it much easier to trap the top leg. So let's just talk about what's happening with your arms on the ground before you have to think about all the other things. We're in our masthead here. First thing, before you start to move anything, your arms, your legs, anything, you're going to shift your booty. So initially in a masthead, the pull is kind of to the outside of your butt cheek. If you try to go into your split there, the pull is going to kind of be in the way of your butt cheek. So you're going to want to add a little shift to the side, okay? It might not end up in your butt crack. It might just end up mid-booty cheek, okay? You just don't want it to be to the outside of your booty, okay? So it's just a tiny movement. Doesn't have to be huge. It's just basically like a hit to the side, okay? So we're in the masthead. You're going to crunch your booty to the side. I'm holding the pull in my armpit of this inside arm. I would encourage you to have this arm roughly parallel or below because you are going to have to release your top hand to catch your split leg. And sometimes if this arm is too high up here, depending on strength wise, we're hanging roughly on one arm and part of a butt cheek, we tend to sink, okay? So by having this arm be elbow pointing either straight ahead or slightly down, it's going to be a little bit easier to hold. And I do have it like smushed between my boob and my bicep here, okay? So it's not a forearm, it's pulled all the way into my armpit, okay? So step one, booty shift. Step two, you're going to start to bring this inside leg up. Most people have an easier time compressing, as in bringing this leg up when the leg is bent versus when the leg is straight. So chances are it's going to be significantly easier for you to bring this leg up and catch it, bringing it up bent than it is bringing it up straight, okay? So we're here, that leg is going to come up, your outside hand is going to go under that leg. Now where you catch the leg as far as holding onto the pole is going to come down to personal preference and where you have an opening. Personally, I like to, when this hand does re-catch the pole, I'm going into a cup grip. And part of the reason for that is it gives me more options where I can put my hand versus if I'm trying to grab in a true grip, sometimes my forearm gets in the way. Plus, I now have the weight of my leg on my arm, which means it might be my thumb is the only part that's wrapped around the pole and all the weight of my leg is pushing on that thumb. Versus if I go into a cup grip, now I have the full support of my hand and my wrist, okay? So I'm trapping my leg, turning my hand down, and I'm gonna catch the pole. Once again, this is where it's gonna vary. You might catch down below your arm, you might catch above your arm. It's gonna depend on your body proportions, your reach, your flexibility, okay? So, and I do find catching it when I'm on the floor feels much weirder than catching it up on the pole. So even if you try it on the floor and you're like, I don't know where my hand goes, try it just to baby climb up, okay, before you get into it. So we've got those steps we're going through. Once that hand is locked in, optional, if you feel secure with it, you can extend this inside arm. And when I do extend it, I'm squeezing across with it, okay? So I'm not just reaching it out here. I'm really thinking like adduct, squeeze this way, and that way it really locks the pole in, okay? So let's look at this. You can just step up into it. You don't have to climb it up. We're up in our masthead. Booty comes to the front. Like I said, you can flex this bottom foot, and sometimes it helps to have this bent. Hook this leg, trap it, then slide that bottom foot down, extend the top, option, top arm, regrip, legs come out. Okay, so you could see I bent the bottom leg. Sometimes that makes it easier because depending on our compression, it might be really hard to get this leg up if that bottom leg is so far down. So if you let that bottom leg bend a little bit when you catch that leg, then open up, okay? If we don't bend the bottom leg, you can keep that bottom leg with the foot flexed, pointed either way. Like I said, it does take a little bit more strength and flexibility, okay? So if I go here, up, okay? Butt comes in front, hook, hook, and out. All right, so a vertical split from a masthead, put it on spin, put it on static, put it with some of your favorite shapes, okay? It also doesn't have to go to a split, okay? You might trap that leg and decide, you know what? This is as far as I want to go or as far as my hamstrings are prepared to go, okay? Keeping that bottom leg trapped, also an option. Remember, every trick has a bazillion variations. Make it you, depending on your strength, your flexibility, your preference, your style. Okay, so these are ideas and suggestions. Let them inspire you. Let that be your diving board to take off and explore your own options. All right, have fun with it. Put it together in a combo. Put it on spin, put it on static,